Hello, and welcome to what's supposed to be a pretty serious discussion. Um, I want to talk about the future of Redstone in Hytale. It's something that has been brought up by really almost everyone. Like, genuinely, every single comment I get, there's three types. This is Minecraft 2. This is, um, this is just copying Minecraft. Or it's, oh, this should be blue. Oh, I want it to be unique and magical. And I've been taking that to heart while I work on making the redstone for this mod, for Minecraft. Or, see, even I'm getting it confused. For Hytale. You know, we have these pistons, for example, which I'm going to officially rename here. I'm going to rename to crude pushers. And you'll see why, at least in my opinion. I do want some input, though, in this. So definitely go in the comments and start blowing up the comments. Um, these these pistons or these crude pushers, they are very Minecrafty, right? And when it comes to making some sort of network for interacting with these, I was kind of tasked with what is this supposed to look like for the community, and I don't think Redstone is it. I don't have any here just because uh, I just finished fixing my client because I was having some issues. So we'll get to that. But I do want to talk about what I think I could see Redstone, Hytale's version of Redstone being in the future. What does it mean in Hytale to have the abilities? What is Hytale missing from Redstone? This is a little crude, don't get me wrong, but I hope this shows the concept. So yes, it's gonna be blue. Everybody just wants it to be blue. Some people are saying copper, like metal. Again, I don't think that fits with the spirit of Hytale. I just want to talk briefly about how I imagine the communication system with Hytale's items being. So, when it comes to programming in Hytale, I'm making mods. You're going to copy things like doors, levers, torches, these things that already exist that have on off states and all of this, and it would really suck if you want to just add some redstone integration. You have to go into my mod, figure out what that is, add the separate system. And I realized something is fundamentally wrong there. In concept, just in concept alone. The redstone should be an additional layer. I say redstone. Bluestone, I'm going to call it crystal conduit as well. But basically, the redstone mechanics of Hytale should not be mandatory. It should be. Okay, it shouldn't be mandatory to add a second system for everything to work. So I want to just give a brief overview of what I'm thinking, and again, I want your inputs of what this is going to look like. This is just a crude drawing, just kind of put the concept out there. So this blue line here, that represents the quote-unquote wire, the conduit. I think we should still keep that. As a base, I think it's important to just have some way to connect things up intricately. Um, so that's going to be the first thing. The second is, how do you interact with items? In Hytale, items are in states. Literally, it's called a state. Block state, state. It's a word that says what this item is in context of the original item. This lever might have an on or an off state. Well, what if we created a block? Let's say this block right here, it's a state detector. I'm gonna want some sort of arcane frilly words for it, but a state detector and this is how I'm thinking of it in my head, should just connect to the first block in front of it, or maybe just like through a single block, maybe a couple. It'll just detect the state of that block. And maybe these three arrows, you can configure it by pressing F on it. It shows how many blocks. So this is actually set to 3, so you would have just 2 arrows. For example, they're just lit up to say, hey, 2 blocks out, I'm detecting whatever that state is. Then you can connect that with wire, or other systems, I'll get to that, to other things. In this case, this wire is going through here, and it's all part of this network. Because I do want like blocks to like attach themselves to the network, if that makes sense. We kind of talked about this in the live streams, which, by the way, I'm trying to do at least 3 times a week. So, obligatory YouTube shill, like and subscribe, please. I love the attention. I love attention. But on a serious note, So I kind of am thinking like, okay, these blocks should kind of be in their own with the network. So these two blocks here, I was thinking of to integrate this lore-wise, with using crystals, this and that. If you use like life essence to craft one of these blocks, it would detect entities, right? So these blocks here are detecting 2 blocks up. For example, they're detecting for any players that are there. And it's still connected to this network, right? And this cable goes over here to this block. Now, what does this block do? Again, I'm just bringing in this whole concept of how I think this should work. Because I don't think we should connect this wire, connect this quote unquote redstone to every single block. That's going to be so much more logic for everybody to just incorporate this mod into their plays. And it's going to be way too complex, and I think that pulls away from the magic and the fun and makes it feel more mechanical. So this block will change the state of whatever's in its the path. You're going to change the settings. Same with these arrows. You just press F on it, for example, and it'll just change the intensity. And then it'll actuate the doors. And you might say, okay, well, Limestone, what if I want to add my own doors? You're probably going to copy the default door, and the basic mechanics are just going to have it so powered on state and powered off state is just open and close. From there, I'm sure we can add some sort of like arcane inverters and stuff. That's in the future. Now, let's say I also want to turn on some torches, like maybe my whole building. Well, I don't want to have to take this, run some wire around, and bring it up here. That's a lot of work. This is where the second communication system, I believe, should be in part of Hytale, because this is already magical. We want to use crystals, we want to use life essence, and all of this. So, all of these diamond faces, which a lot of blocks have, and for context, I'm already incorporating this design into my pistons. As an example, they're faced to either send or receive this blue signal, or both actually. So these 2 blocks are connected by this network. This one's connected to this one, and this is an invisible signal. Maybe we can add some like goggles that make you see like this arcane presence, for example, to like help you diagnose. But this signal is whizzing all the way up here, goes up to this, and basically connects it to this rest of this arcane network. And it can turn on and off these torches, which again, these are all built-in mechanics. We can set these block states. If you want to create your own lamps and have them redstone integrated, the only thing you have to do is copy the lamp that you want, create your design, put it in the game. As long as you're using those states, those default states, it'll just work. So this is in my head, what I'm thinking. People were asking, oh, are the pistons going to be quasi and this and that? Because everybody wants Minecraft 2, but not everybody. The people who want Minecraft 2 are the people who made Minecraft Complex Redstone what it is today. But the problem with Redstone, and I remember recently seeing a video of somebody playing with Redstone for the first time, it doesn't make sense. And it doesn't have to make sense, it's context of a video game, but it doesn't make sense to me why we need the exact same system in Hytale. And this is just a quick little example, right? There's a lot you can do. If we're saying life essence interacts with entities, we can have pushers, this, that, anybody can make whatever. But I want to at least set up the framework so people can create these really, really awesome stuff. And you might say, well, what if I want to add custom states? I'll find a way. But now that the codecs work in my editor, thanks to, again, Josh for finding me that link, because thanks to that, we're putting that in. I can create my own codecs to give you the power to create your own states so your items respond the way you want when they're interacted with in this ecosystem. Because that's what it is. Redstone is an ecosystem of interaction for Minecraft. In this case, I want to call it crystal conduits. Alright, that's what my headcanon word is for it right now. I want this to be a crystal conduit ecosystem for interaction, logic, and all these sorts of things. We can add more, and there's a lot we can do. So please throw in some info, throw in some suggestions in the comments. I really want to make this a thing, because as I was creating the redstone, I was just thinking, like, I'm just making Minecraft 2. Redline, for example, is what we're calling it. And I'm like, no, I want this to be a system that has a little more to it. The cables are still there, the conduit cables, but for long range, those torches at the top of your building, this is more than enough. You know, it's something you can just build, put in a couple blocks, and it just works. And then you can have your build surrounding it, so you don't have to see it constantly. So, yeah, let me know. I would love to hear your input, and I'll see you guys on the next stream.